sisters, are you in the house? Stand up, my sisters. Are y'all ready? I want you to repeat after me. Say, power of the ballot. Power of the sister vote. Power of the black vote. Power of the brother vote. We are going to do this thing, y'all. Sit down. I'm sorry. I just want us to wake up. It's been a great, great day. I'm just so honored to be here at the Black Caucus with all of you all and brothers. Where are your brothers at? Is the brothers in the house? Stand up, brothers. We together. Stand up, my brothers. Yes. So let's say it with me. Power of the brother vote. Power of the black vote. Power of the sister vote. Power to everybody vote. So now I want the sisters and the brothers, get up, stand up together. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right now. They say power of the black vote. We got the power. We're going to use it. We're going to show up. We're going to show out. And say, yes, we can. Yes, we will. Yes, she will. Go all the way to the White House. And we're going to have the first black, South Asian, Jamaican sister, woman, all that as our president of the United States of America, because we're not going back. Just say it. We're not going back. We built this country. We built this country. We are not going to be erased. We got the power, y'all. We got everything we need. But I'm going to say this to you. Don't think about no inauguration. Don't call nobody. Don't text nobody about no hotel rooms. I got about 1,500 people calling me. All that's going to happen. And because you all are leaders in your states, I'm sure y'all getting them text messages already. I'm telling all my friends, all my folks, look, we got time for that, but we got to get across the finish line. And we got to give our sister the tools she needs. That means, say, we're going to win the Senate. We're going to win the House. And we're going to win the White House. Thank you. Peace and power.
I love my sister, Melanie. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashanti Golar. I am the president of Emerge, the nation's largest network of Democratic women elected officials and candidates. Who are my Emerge alums that are in the room? Really excited to be here. I am the first black woman to lead this organization. I have to thank Mama Virgie. I have worked for her ever since I basically started working at the DNC in 2008. She's the best. She's my fairy godmother, and she really supported me moving into this role. How many of you have been in the women's restrooms? Have you seen those decals on the mirrors? We did that. Emerge did that. Because we wanted you all to know that leadership does look good on you, that you are the future leaders of this country. Our organization actually came out of Vice President Harris's very first race for DA. Our co-founders were friends with her, they looked around, and they wanted more women like Kamala to run for office. So this is a full circle moment for us, and to be here and make sure that we are doing that recruitment and training to get more women, especially black women, running for office. At Emerge, we center the new American majority. That includes black women. Black women, we're the base of the Democratic Party. We don't have to just be voters. We can be elected officials. We have our Seated Together program, which focuses on black women elected officials who want to run for higher office. Joanna McClinton, the first woman speaker of the Pennsylvania State House. London Lamar, the youngest woman in the Tennessee State Senate. We have Congresswoman Amelia Sykes. They are all Seated Together alums. And we also do our judicial work, Gavel In, training more women to run for judicial positions. We have 109 Emerge alums that are judges. The majority of them are black women. This is what we wake up and do every day, knowing that if we want to change the face of politics, we need more women, especially black women in office. You can visit us for the rest of the convention. We have a booth in Dimpalooza, and we're also doing live talks. They started today, they'll end tomorrow, and our final conversation will be with the iconic Anita Hill, so that's something that you don't want to miss. Thank you all so much. You can visit us at emergeamerica.org every single day. Bye.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Awesome. Because Miss Virgie is so amazing, she's able to get wonderful, wonderful different voices from different communities to represent us. We have a great panel that's going to be coming and speaking to you today. And we are going to start with Joteka Edie, who is the founder of Win with Black Women.
Well, hello, DNC Black Caucus. Are there any Winning with Black Women in here tonight? Are there any of you that was part of the 44,000 Black women that have inspired the nation? It is an honor to be with each and every one of you today. Let me tell you one thing. This country right now, if they did not know how to win with Black women, I promise you they know what it means to win with Black women. Let me hear you say win with Black women. Yes, she can. And let me say right here, I know everybody in this room knows how to say Kamala Harris. And when they can't get it right, we're going to remind them they could just simply say Vice President Harris. It is such a time for our nation, and it is an honor to stand here in this moment. Everyone has been talking about the historic call that took place on July 21st, but I am here to remind people that long before that call, Black women have been toiling and doing the work. Had it not been for Black women who have been a part of the DNC Black Caucus, the Shirley Chisholms of the world, my soror, I know I got on pink, baby, but my heart and soul is red. Fannie Lou Hamer, Dr. Hazel Lynn Dukes. I can call the roll of Black women who have consistently been the backbone of this party. Black women who consistently do the work. Black women who will meet for years and years when nobody is looking, and so when the time is right, all we have to do is shift the agenda and help inspire a nation. Black women and Black people have always been the bedrock of this party. Now, I am sitting here and I saw my good Madam President here in the room. And yesterday we were on stage for Native Land Pod, and she talked about the great Shirley Chisholm. And Shirley Chisholm reminded us that if they don't give you a seat at the table, then we should bring a folding chair. But I'm here to say to you all today that I dare say that right now in America, that Black women and Black people in this country, yes, there was always a table and they often would not give us a seat and we had to bring our folding chairs. But I dare say right now in this moment, Black folks are building the table, and we are building a table in which everyone has a seat at the table. Now I know that in the next 76 days, I believe, we have work to do. Now, I know Zoom has been good to us. Technology, the conversation we're going to have, has been very good to us. It's allowed us to connect. But we're not going to Zoom our way to a victory in this election. We got to get in the streets and meet people where they are. We got to go to the places of worship, the places of party. We got to knock on doors. We got to turn out voters. Because I can tell you I'm an organizer trained by the NAACP. And what it's going to take is boots on the ground, hands on doors, and talking to people every single day in order to win this election. Someone said to me in an interview, what happens if we don't win? I simply looked back and said, that is not even a conversation. That's not a choice for us. We understand that there is a very clear line between Vice President Kamala Harris and he who should not be named. We know that they are trying to roll back every single right that this caucus has fought for this country, and we will not go back. It is my honor to be here, and the last thing that I would say to y'all, keep fighting. Keep going. Keep fighting. Let me hear you say, win with Black women. Win with Black men. Win with Black people. Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Y'all, let's do this in 2024, y'all. Let's go. Thank you very much.
All right. So we have an amazing panel up here to talk about innovation and the future economic advancements in technology. I want to start with Brandon Thompson, the Vice President of Diversity at NASCAR. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do and the changing diversity in your specific fields and what results you're seeing?
Sure. So, again, my name is Brandon Thompson, Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at NASCAR. Great to be here with you all today and really just kind of talk about some of the ways that we're pushing technology forward, equity, even working with Darrell on a couple of projects. But the one thing that I remind people of is that despite the reputation that NASCAR has earned, frankly, in some respects, but the perception over the years as well, sort of mixed with that because of that history, NASCAR has really been on this journey in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, really a bit before any other professional sports were on the path. So, in 2001, we established a NASCAR Diversity Internship Program, of which I am a product of, which focuses on bringing black college students from campuses into the NASCAR environment in order to give them hands-on training in a variety of fields, from marketing, engineering, et cetera. We have now put close to 600 students through that program. We're also really excited about a couple of other programs, really in that same vein, the NASCAR Campus Lab program, which currently sits at Bethune-Cookman University, soon to expand to another university in North Carolina, as well as an engineering fellowship program, which focuses on putting black college students and master's level candidates on path to become crew chiefs and race day engineers, which across other sports you would commonly hear those referred to as head coaches and assistant head coaches. So we're excited about those types of programs. Also on the track, obviously with the success of Bubba Wallace and others, one of the things I'm most excited about relative to that program, it's aside from the length of time that it has been around, also for 20 plus years, is the fact that we now have layers. So before, and I think again Darrell and maybe some other folks in the room, before it was just Bubba, and we were kind of all rallying behind him as well we should. But now, because of his existence, who stands obviously on the heels and on the shoulders of someone like Wendell Scott or Elias Bowie, we are now to the point where there's a LeVar Scott, and now to the point where behind LeVar there's a driver named Nathan, and behind the driver named Nathan there's a driver named Laquan. And so we continue to, and not to mention Raja Caruth, who obviously got his first win this year as well, a student at Winston-Salem State University. So lots of fun and exciting things happening on and off the track. And I would say to close, relative to specifically to technology, there are a ton of opportunities across the sport, not only within engineering, but data analytics, all types of things that are going into CAD drawings and remote race operations that we have. We're utilizing a ton of technology. So we're excited about the future of NASCAR and excited to share this panel with you all today.
Thank you. I'd like to now move to Claridith, who is the founder of ISCI. Could you talk a little bit about trends, paths, resources we should be considering right now, and what demands should we be making of national and local leaders to advance diversity and inclusion?
Absolutely. But first, what I would like to say is good afternoon, everyone. Let's do a little bit better. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
All right, you're still with me? Thank you. My name is Claridith Landry. Not only am I the proud founder of Inclusive Security Collective Initiative, ISCI, where access is granted, I am also a proud veteran. I'm part of a long lineage, as many of us in this room are, of service members, of black and brown men and women who have given their lives for this country, even when this country didn't recognize us. So when we talk about the different industries that are available to us for economic prosperity, we really need to be looking at specific markets. And for so long, we've been told that all we can do in the defense space is serve. And yes, I serve proudly, but did you know that the defense industrial complex is a $1 trillion industry? Not with an M, not with a B, trillion, TR. We, as a community, see less than 0.07% of those funds across our academic institutions, across our businesses, across any event or activation, across research and development, across professional pathways that could actually get our future, which are our children, into high demand and in demand STEM professions. So what I'm actually going to ask you all today, when you ask me what are the industries, what can we do? Well, if you remember anything from what I shared for you today, or share with you today, it's that we all should be demanding a new Tuskegee Agreement, okay? This is based off the Tuskegee Miracle that was penned between Booker T. Washington and President Roosevelt, which stood up to Tuskegee Airmen, which stood up to Tuskegee Airfield, where blacks could serve, go to school, go to pilot training, so that they could serve in World War II, be seen as the heroes they were, come back and actually reap the benefits of their service, which they never got to see come to fruition. But now that we know better, we should be asking for more. So Research Center, that was done under the Biden-Harris administration, okay? This was done in 2022 under the first black Secretary of Defense that we have, Secretary Lloyd Austin, okay? Let's give that up. The first ever black Secretary of Defense we've ever had, Secretary Lloyd Austin, who went to West Point. My father is also a West Point grad, okay? So we have a long lineage, again, of service. But those 9 schools are part of the first ever HBCU ARC, which is the abbreviation that I just shared with you, have to share $90 million over 5 years. Now, yes, it's progress because we've never had it before, but we should be asking for more. We should be asking for what?
More.
We should also be asking for that new Tuskegee Agreement, okay? That means more money into our academic infrastructure. That means more money into our black small-owned businesses so they too can be seen as defense contracting companies with access to that trillion-dollar industry and that revenue that is constantly going to predominantly white businesses and defense contracting companies. By the way, there's an annual list every single year of 200 defense contracting companies. Not a single one is black-owned. What are we going to do to change that? We're going to ask for a new Tuskegee Agreement. Also, not a single HBCU is what's called R1 status, meaning that they can actually do the research that brings more money into the institutions, that create more career paths for our black professionals who want to be in STEM, who want to be like me, who is an intelligence officer, serving in Baghdad, Iraq, serving under Secretary Austin, making sure that the technologies that went to the field were protected before they even went out, even being used for commercial use. So these are incredible spaces that we are not informed about, and sometimes intentionally, but we deserve to know about because we want a what? A new Tuskegee Agreement. This isn't just about our service. We've always served. This is about what we earned and what we deserve in return.
Thank you. That was very interesting. Next,
My last name is Landry, Claredith Landry, Landry.
All right. Next, we have Daryl Booker, who is the Tech Diversity Lead for Microsoft. You want to introduce yourself and then talk to us a little bit about some trends that you're seeing as well?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Booker. I'm a racial equity tech lead at Microsoft. I also sit on the Congressional Black Caucus's Racial Equity Task Force. But my work at Microsoft is rooted in how we use technology and data to address racial injustices. I've been leading the program since 2020. In a nutshell, bringing all things tech innovation, skilling, career awareness, and workforce development to the black community. But in what we hope to be a really long-term and sustainable way. Yes, we're a major corporation, and some may feel we can hand every black person a stimulus type of check, but what does that do? Instead, we need to put the power behind the back of those organizations that's doing the work every day, regardless of whatever a headline is, and that's our nonprofits, our community-based organizations, and our HBCUs. But the issue is they don't have the tools and resources to do the work that they need. And one of the things that they really lack is technology. When we think about how funding is provided to these organizations, black-led organizations receive unrestricted funds at a 76% smaller rate than their white counterparts. What that means is they're not getting the funding to invest in technology, whether that's a laptop, whether that's people, whatever it is that can really power their work. And, nowadays, technology is the greatest equalizer to all disparities. If you can utilize technology to the fullest, you can do more with less, you can do it faster, and you can reach more. So my work is really rooted across the country, working with these organizations, leveling their playing field in technology, giving them the tools and things that they need to do whatever their mission is, but do it really successfully. But also, we're gaining partners at a really hyper-local level. My team is working with over 3,000 nonprofits across 1,800 communities across this country, and these are, these small organizations. And through them, we now gain partners to bring all of that skilling, career, and workforce development directly into the hands of our young people, adults, and seniors who need it, because we now gain them as partners. And, really looking at how technology is powering everything, especially when we think of career pathways. How can we tell a young person right now that they can't be a successful content creator when they see it, when they open their phone? Let's give them the tools that they need and the education to do it. Brandon talked about, NASCAR, working with them on just exposing our young people to motorsports, and have no idea how big that industry is, how big that sport is, and all the career pathways from vehicle design all the way to post-race analytics. And, speaking of our HBCUs, working with government agencies such as the National Security Agency to bring mentors from their side as well as mentors from our side to these HBCUs to try to get them to R1, at least let's try to get them to R2. But these are the things that, we're doing, and just trying to make sure that we don't get left behind. The latest thing right now is AI, and I personally, my 20-something years in tech, have not seen a piece of technology that's growing to this type of adoption as fast as AI, and at what I call an equitable level that everybody can use it. But just like nowadays, you don't see on job descriptions that you need to use Word or Excel. That's a given, right, for an entry-level role. This will be what we will be seeing in terms of being able to use AI. So whatever we can do to make sure that our young people are gaining these valuable skills as soon as possible, but even making sure that our businesses and our entrepreneurs and our startups are using technology to the fullest.
Thank you. That was awesome. So as we close, and was this not some really good information? I urge all of you to go out and follow them on their social media, because we want to make sure that we're keeping current and learning all of these amazing things. So as we close, I would definitely like to go to each of you and give you 2 minutes and tell the audience 3 things that they could do in this election cycle that will help DEI from your perspective.
I'll start. So 3 things.
2 minutes.
3 things in 2 minutes. I think I can handle that. I think number 1, we've talked about it a lot. Vote. I think that's the first thing that we have. We've talked about the voice, or our vote being our voice. So that's the first thing that I would encourage. The next thing I would do is to say to support financially. I think we talked about these. Someone mentioned that earlier today. So whether it's at a macro level, right, relative to the election and donating there, or supporting other black people in these endeavors. We've talked a lot about that, but I think now, particularly coming out of 2020, we've seen an expansion of black women-owned businesses and just black-owned businesses, and being able to find them more readily. But I think being able to support really in all the ways. So specific to NASCAR, whether that's supporting some of the drivers that we mentioned coming out, and being able to see the things that are happening from a pit crew level, from a college student engagement level. So I would say the financial support, and then finally I would say, which is really in our DNA, is the stick-to-itness, right? Just to be able to keep going. The endurance that we have despite a lot of the challenges, and I think those are the 3 things that we have to do in order to continue to move forward. And I'll sneak a 4th one in there, I guess, that kind of ties all of those together, is that really for us to understand and push our corporations and those people that we work for to understand that we as black people are a significant part of the GDP of the country and the economic stability of the country. And so in order for that to be maintained, and understanding the trajectory of where the demographics are going in the country, we cannot sit on the sidelines, right, and expect for businesses to continue to be commercially profitable. And so I think we need to stand in that in our power. Thank you.
And I'll piggyback off of one of the things Brandon said just about, supporting businesses. And I don't have the exact number, but I think it's something along the lines of, money stays within the Black community no more than 6 hours. And that essentially comes from there's not enough, fellow entrepreneurs, business owners, so that money can stay within the community as it does, other races and ethnicities. The other thing is, conversations at home. And I said it to say, not all the time about the good stuff that's happening, that's the bad stuff. And I know we as people, we're fighters, we struggle, we do a lot, but a lot of times we hide a lot from our kids. And at the end of the day, have those conversations with your kids so that when they get older, they're not facing the same things. They can see that there's no money and something struggling within the house. Sit down at that moment and show them about budgeting and financing so they're not figuring things out on their own just because we're too prideful to be able to share that within our home. And then also, when we think of corporations, and I know I work at one, so I'm speaking, to myself. For me, there was whether it was corporations, foundations, government, you name it, a lot of money came out of nowhere in 2020. And in my opinion, only so much has changed, barely anything. And does that erase 400 years of oppression? I think we all say no. And it really takes you all's voice, just like it did in 2020, for all these things to come about. Y'all have to keep using y'all voice and holding those accountable who have those resources to be able to help.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple of asks. First, I'd like everyone to see if their congressman or woman or senator sits on the HASC or the Appropriations Committee, because there's something called the National Defense Authorization Act, which every year you're able to change language, and there's a specific line 4144, that allows you and to encourage your congresswoman, congressman that may sit on the HASC, the appropriations, to increase the dollar amount that's going to our HBCUs for STEM-based research and development and technology. With that increase, that means they have more infrastructure at our HBCUs. That means our talent can get their undergrad and graduate degree in STEM at the same school and you do not have to transfer to a PWI to be successful. That means more credit to our HBCUs. That means more funding to our HBCUs. That means more infrastructure and capability and defense contracts, again, worth $1 trillion, okay? So that's the first ask I would have of you. That NDAA and that legislative influence is tantamount to sustainable change and investment in our communities. Secondly, the UARC that I mentioned before, where there's 9 HBCUs sharing $90 million across 5 years, at the epicenter of those 9 schools is VP Harris's alma mater, Howard University. They are the #1 school on track to reach R1 status. I would love to see that become a reality under her presidency, okay? Can we get a round of applause for that? Let's continue that momentum. Thirdly, Black businesses deserve to be involved in the Mentor Protege program as part of the Defense Industrial Complex. That's when an established, predominantly white or just majority defense contracting company invests and trains and teaches a Black or marginalized community-owned business or underrepresented owned business how to be a part of the acquisition cycle. You know when solicitations are dropped, you know how much it's for. They're responsible for making sure you're successful because then it makes them look successful. We're not involved in that program at scale. And lastly, this is more about the heart here. This is more about what we deserve as a community. Ultimately, the Defense Industrial Complex and our part in it is about the country's readiness, and it's about maintaining strategic competitive edge so that we are not taken advantage of by our adversaries. We as a community are tantamount to that success. We cannot be ready as a country, we cannot be secure as a nation without Black people at the table. So what we want is a new Tuskegee Agreement. Can I get it one more time?
New Tuskegee Agreement.
Thank you so much.
Let's give a round of applause for this amazing panel. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Got some people out there want to talk to y'all. Y'all had it going on.
Okay, now, did y'all enjoy them young folk? Aren't they good? You see the work that they're doing? You would not know.
Just 1 second. If you all will just give us a moment for a personal privilege. My name is Dewana Thompson, and I have the honor of serving alongside Miss Virgie Rollins. I worked for Miss Virgie when I was the National African American Vote Director for the Democratic Party, and with me are two additional powerhouse women who've also worked with Ms. Virgie in national leadership roles at the DNC over the last 10 years. And we thought that it would be remiss if we did not take a moment to make sure that we give her her flowers in this incredible Year of the Woman. Please stand to your feet with us and honor this woman who has fought for us, who has put her heart on the line for us, who has demanded excellence on behalf of our people, who is still fighting every single day, even today, to make sure that we have the things that we need. It's because of people like Miss Virgie that our stories exist. Each one of us have held CEO level roles. Each one of us are currently leading national programs. Each one of us represent about 1,000 other women who are seated in high places because of how high this lady has elevated us on her shoulders. And though the crowd has dwindled, her power has not. And we wanted to ensure that while the cameras are still here, and you're still here, that we bear witness to the greatness that is Miss Virgie M. Rollins.
That's too much.
How do you follow a Dewana Thompson? Y'all give it up for Dewana. Dewana she and I have been friends over a decade now, and we call each other twin because we act so much alike that people now start to think that we're twins for real. But when I tell you about the power of sisterhood, I don't care if you're in a sorority or not. If you have a band of women who you can stand with, you can cry with, you can pray with, you can work with, the one you could take a couple of lashings with. Miss Virgie, what you have done,
Oh, God.
not just for us, but for everyone who's come before us, the women that you have on your cabinet, I look at Grace and Allison and Congresswoman Christensen, you make sure that one, we don't take no stuff, but most importantly, that we feel confident in who we are and what you have poured into us. You have been the mother for so many. I know Venus and your other nieces are out here in the audience and your family. You have extended us grace in ways that we don't know. And so we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being the incredible force, the fierce nature that you are. Ms. Virgie, we stand so humbly on your shoulders. And we are so grateful for everything you do for us. Have you taught us to stand 10 toes down on business for Black folk, right? You ensure we all understood what our Black jobs and what our Black obligations are to our people. So thank you for being a mentor, a mother, a friend, for being our everything, Ms. Virgie. You are the Black Caucus. You are the conscience of this country. So thank you for that. People don't know what you've done. When you talk about the states and what it takes to do this work, she talked about her regional caucuses. We all have buried the bearers of those regional caucuses, but it's important because it pours in everyday people. Without her, it would be no Black women for Kamala. Right? There would be no women with Black women. There would be no women of the. This is Virgie Rollins.
Yes.
And you have to know that. I love you, Ms. Virgie.
This is the baby of the bunch, y'all. This is the baby.
Ooh, good afternoon. I don't know how I can follow Dewana or Wakenya. My name is Ebony Baylor, and I served at the pleasure of Chair Virgie Rollins. What Dewana and Wakinya said, ditto. And I also want to give credit to Wakinya Clanton because I came to the DNC because she opened the door and she told me about the position. She encouraged me to apply, and she made the avenue available and advocated for me to be represented at the organization. And she told me about the importance of Ms. Virgie Rollins. She told me about the goal and the role and what we were going to be doing and the importance of our position and the things that we were going to do in the lives that we were going to change. Ms. Virgie accepted me as a political daughter, and through some of the toughest times of my life, even after I left the DNC, I've lost my father, I've lost my aunt, I've lost my uncle, all in the last 6 months. And Ms. Virgie has held me up. She has supported me. She has poured into me. She still loves on me. And she organizes the hell out of this country for Black people. A lot of people don't know about the fights that happen inside of the building. A lot of people don't understand the long hours and the stress and the turmoil that Ms. Virgie goes through and the DNC Black Caucus members go through to represent the Black community for the Democratic Party. So when you see them running around, if they seem tired or frustrated, it is because they have been organizing the hell out of the DNC for our community to make sure that you all have resources to do the work, to make sure that people are turning out in this election. So I just want to thank Ms. Virgie for everything that you have done, all of the sacrifices, all of the phone calls, all of the tough conversations, because we are who we are because of you, and we love you so much.
Virgie,
Virgie, Virgie, Virgie, Virgie, Virgie,
I'm gonna do the ugly cry. Y'all gonna make me do the ugly cry.
You got the last one, Mark. Mark, I don't want to come up and say this is enough.
Okay. You know what? These are my children. And I love them so much. They always, at the DNC, I do intimidate a lot of people at the DNC, from top all the way top down. But I always tell them, always have your back because you staff, and if they mess with you, they messing with me. And they know that I'm going to be there for them. I tell them all the time when, like my dad used to tell me all the time, when you walk out of this house and you look in the mirror, that's all white folks see is your this. They don't care how smart you are. They don't care how good looking you are. You can go high up in the land, but you still this. And so I tell them I'm gonna always be here for them. I'm gonna always lift them up because I'm here. Sometimes I always tell them. They were saying, "Ooh, Miss Virgie's, y'all better be nice because she gonna get y'all if y'all ain't." Because but I'm very structured, and I say what you do. Don't worry about what people say. Whatever the issues are, whatever the job is, just do your job. Make sure it's the right thing. Make sure, listen to what they're telling you. And that's what you do. And then all the other stuff, don't shut the noise out. Just do not listen to the noise because that don't matter. You matter. Well, how you feel, what you doing, you got to keep your focus. And that's so important, and it's real important for me because I'm not going to be doing this forever, and I want to make sure that the legacy is out there, and this is it. These are my babies, and I always tell them, and to want to know if when I call on Ebony, they're all here. They're all here. Everywhere I go, they call me, say whatever you need. And people say when they first come, they say, "Oh, you ain't gonna like Miss Virgie. She real tough," But every time they leave, they stay with me everywhere I go. And when you see all of this stuff that has happened, this is the coordinator because she takes care of it. She's been with me the longest. She staffed me anything I need, and they're gonna follow her. They're gonna do what she wants. And this one is just, and my baby over here, I always had to get in her case a little bit, but she here and she does, everyone, and I thank y'all. I love y'all so much.
Go ahead and end your meeting tonight.
Let me tell you, this is my team, and this is Will. Will, come on up here. You know, my right hand here. Will has been with me. He does everything. Every time I get a new staff person, and they go crazy because they say, what is he doing? I said, you listen to him. If you don't listen to him, you might be on my bad side, okay? And so this is my team. I appreciate you all. This has been one of the most wonderful events. I've had such a good time. I've been doing this for 18 years. My first chair was Howard Dean, and my Federation women are here because I represent the national. Is my president here? Is my national president still here, Barbara Faison? Because I represent the National Federation of Democratic Women I'm a national past president, and my brother over here by another mother, Chuck Bussey, my family, but I represent the National Federation of Democratic Women on the DNC. And that's when they come after me, see, so they can't because they always say, well, she's not elected through the state, and she's not at large, but I represent the Federation, and I want to thank my Federation sisters. I want to thank my family. Venus is my hand. She my daughter that I never had, that I helped raise, and my nieces, Robin. And Lindsay, everybody, and my good friend for 30 years, and my neighbor, Pam. We love her. My kids call her Auntie Pam. And Chuck and Marina, Uncle Chuck. I mean, he's always been by my side. I always tell him, he always said, and I said, I talk about white people a lot. And, sometimes I slip up, but he be sitting there. He understands that. I said, who I'm real. And so thank you. Where my board at? And if I couldn't do this without Allison and Grace, and Donna, stand up, Donna, and Travis, and Vice Chair over here, Mark Mallory. You guys have been wonderful. Where's Aisha?
Volunteers.
My volunteer, all these. Where's Tammy? Where's Tammy Davis? Right, Tammy? You made this come together from us from afar. You were Chicago. Obama loaned her to us. And thank you, Tammy, so much.
And acknowledge Trey from Biden.
And Trey, come up here. Trey Baker, you come up here. This is the director of Black Folks for Harris. This is my buddy and my counterpart. This who I'm gonna be beating up a lot because I got to get the money from him. I got to call him to get the resources. So Trey, you want to say just a word or two?
Yeah, I'll say a word or two.
Come on up, Michael.
First of all, I'm not the black director for Harris this time. I was the director of black engagement for Joe Biden in 2020. I'm a senior advisor to the campaign now. So y'all don't call me directly on this. I just wanted to come and say one thing. One, thank you to Virgie Rollins. I wanted to add our little piece to it because what Virgie does, and last night, First Lady Michelle Obama mentioned something in particular that resonated with me. She said, don't complain because you didn't get reached out directly to by somebody from the campaign, because we don't have time for that foolishness. Those were her exact words. We don't have time for that foolishness, because we're all working and we're all doing our thing. And so I'm coming to you today to say you have been reached out to somebody from the campaign. That's me. And we need you because we don't have time for that foolishness. And so don't come and say, oh, I hadn't heard from Trey, I didn't get an email back, he didn't call me back. Follow Ms. Virgie's example. Ms. Virgie will call me 17 times. And then she gets me and does the work. But I just want you to know what she does to push resources out into the community. She demands that black people have the resources that they deserve for this campaign and to get out and push the vote. And so just know that she's holding our feet to the fire from the campaign side to get those resources out into the streets. And I'll tell you this is off the record. Everybody should be pushing us. Everybody should be pushing the campaign to do more because we deserve more. And if we represent 33% of the vote, the coalition that's going to push this over the top, we should represent an equal amount of the money that's going out. And that's what Ms. Virgie pushes. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that. The last thing I'll say is make sure everybody takes one of these. In the spirit of not putting up with foolishness, when somebody comes to you with the foolishness of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden haven't done anything for black people, I want you to pull this out because we don't have time for that foolishness. When somebody comes to you and they say Kamala Harris is not black, I want you to pull up her record and show just how black she is because we don't have time for that foolishness. And so I want everybody to take these. If you haven't gotten one, make sure you have it. Put it in your pocket, fold it up, keep it with you at all times because we don't have time for that foolishness. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And one other person, Keith Corbett, my buddy from Rainbow Push. We have served for years with him, and I call him all the time, and we listen to Dr. Haynes on Sunday. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, and this meeting is adjourned.
Before you guys leave and Ms. Virgie leaves, I just want to show you all what we had made for the first time in the history of the Black Caucus in honor of our chair, Ms. Virgie Rollins, which all of you can get.